everyone. Welcome to class. We are here for our Thursday yoga. We're actually going to start by standing today. So bring those feet under your hips, about a hip width apart. Shake out those knees, shake out the body. If you've been sitting, standing, just roll those shoulders back. Reach those fingers for the ground. Close your eyes. And let's take a moment. Maybe you want to put a soft bend in the knees. And notice that sway of your body, that unconscious finding of balance as we're on our 2 feet. And then bring your focus up to the very tip top of your head and slowly scan down through your body. Noting any area of tension or ache or throb. Just label it with that one word. And then move down your body, noticing what else is there. We're checking in with our bodies, checking in with our starting point today without judgment. Just acknowledge how we feel right now. And all together from our Zoom boxes, let's exhale the air from our lungs. Through the nose, inhale deep. Exhale long. And begin to transition into your practice. Sealing up those lips and take 3 intentional breaths. Making it each inhale just a little bit longer. And each exhale just a little bit longer too. We're using this oxygen to prep us for energy, to help us transition and reboot. The breath is powerful. And with your next exhale, let's reach those arms up nice and high. Stretching from the feet all the way up to the fingertips. Then we'll interlace the hands and place them behind the head. Elbows go wide. Begin to squeeze the glutes, bring the hips forward. Proud chest and lean back just a little bit. Doesn't have to be much. So squeeze those glutes, bring the hips forward. Proud chest, lean the head back. And then we'll come up tall. Begin to bring the forearms and the elbows closer together as you bring your chin towards your chest. So we're not forcing the back of our head, we're just letting the weight of the arms help that chin come in a little bit closer. Take an intentional breath. Feel the chest expand. Bring the head back up to center. We'll bring the right hand down beside us, reaching out at an angle, stretching those fingertips. Bring your neck over to the left side. Maybe you want to cup it with your hands and just guide it over. So your fingers and your head are reaching away from each other. Slowly move your chin to angle down toward the mat. Notice how that may change the stretch. And then begin to change the angle so your chin starts to angle up at an angle. Noticing the change in your neck. And then go back to a nice little stretchy, sticky spot. Taking an intentional breath, breathing into that spot of tension and exhaling it out. Maybe a little bit of that tension goes with the breath. Bring your head back up to center. Release those arms down and let's sweep them up. Trying that again. So reaching all the way from the heels to the fingertips. Don't skip this moment of extended reach. See if you can just reach a millimeter more. Interlace the fingers the other way and bring them behind the head. So you're just supporting the head. Squeeze your butt muscles together. Begin to move the hips forward as you lean back, proud chest, gazing toward the ceiling. Maybe envisioning that nice, beautiful sun. And then coming back up to straight, bringing those forearms to be parallel to each other. And allow the weight of the arms to guide the chin toward the chest. Feel an intentional breath expanding the chest, maybe the belly. And then we'll bring the head back up to center. Reach out with your left hand toward an angle, reaching out with those fingertips. And let your head come over to the right side, maybe supporting it with the hand. And this might feel a little bit awkward at first. I remember back going, how am I supposed to support my head? So play around with that a little bit. Check in with the sensations in your neck. Where do you feel a stretch or a pull? Maybe it feels quite fine. And then play around with angling your chin toward the ground. Notice how that may shift the sensation in the neck. And then play around with angling your chin up toward the ceiling and gaze toward the ceiling. And then move the rotation back to wherever you felt, or perhaps that's staying where you are, wherever you felt that neck, nice neck, shoulder, sometimes even upper back. All those muscles are connected to each other. So find your spot. Take an intentional breath. Break out that tension. Exhale, let some of it go. Bring the gaze back to center, release those arms down. We're gonna reach behind us. Take your left hand and grab your right wrist. Keep the elbows bent, but roll those shoulders back and think about reaching your hand down to the ground. Standing tall. Maybe again, think about how do I bring my shoulder blades together? What kind of muscle might work back there to move my shoulder blades just another millimeter toward each other? Then release the hands, roll out the wrists, and then roll the other way. And then we'll reach the other way. So right hand grabs the left wrist. Think about rolling the shoulders back, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then pull that wrist down and back. So elbows are still bent here in this one. You might be feeling it in the front of the shoulder or the upper arm. You might be feeling it in that space between the shoulder blades as you stand tall. And intentionally think about that space between the shoulder blades, your rhomboid muscles. Can you think about activating those? Even if you don't know where they are, think mid-back, how do I move my shoulder blades together? And then we'll release those arms, shake out the hands again. We're going to start with a little bit of early balance practice. So move down to your feet. Feet are under the hips. Take a moment to lift the toes. I challenge you to try and spread them out, even if they're stiff like mine. See if you can visualize, work those muscles, stretch out the toes. Feel your arch lift, and then step the feet down, keeping the arch lifted. Let's lean over onto the left foot, pick up the right knee, and bring it up into your chest. We're gonna hold it here. If balance is a challenge, feel free to find a table or a wall or a chair, have it close by to assist with the balance. And then we'll slowly put that leg down, feet under hips. Now we're going to shift the weight to the right side. Let the root of the foot root down, bring up the left leg, bringing it into the chest. You can hold it there by itself, or maybe you want to wrap some arms around your shin. The balance is a struggle. Find that chair or wall. Or perhaps think about softening the knee a little bit. Does that change your balance? Feeling the pinky toe side of your foot and the big toe side of your foot. Does that help your foot root down? And slowly let go of the leg. Shake out those knees. Now we're gonna bring the leg back, start to work the quad. So we're moving back to the left foot. So feel the left foot root down, anchor down, big toe side, pinky toe side. Bring your right foot behind you. You can stay here, or maybe you want to reach your right hand to grab your right foot or ankle. We're just going to stay here, stretching the quad. So think about, again, we're thinking balance. So foot, big toe side, pinky toe side, heel, all pressing down into the ground. You want to add a bit more to the quad. Perhaps you want to think about bringing that heel a little bit closer to your butt. Maybe experiment with moving the knee a little bit behind you. See how that changes things. Then we'll slowly release the leg. And to keep it even, we've got to move to the right side. So don't rush the feet. We're working on our balance here. We're working on feet recognition. So as you lean over to the right side, feel your pinky toe, big toe, heel, all rooted down. Perhaps have a little soft bend, micro bend in your knee as you pick up your left foot behind you. You have an option to stay here. You have an option to reach your left hand behind and grab that foot. And this can feel a bit on the shoulders. That's why we reached behind a little earlier. But return to that foot, big toe side, pinky toe side, and heel. Soft micro bend in the knee. And if you feel ready to add to the thinking, maybe you want to think about the heel coming closer to the butt or the knee coming a bit behind you. And a lot of us do a lot of sitting, so this can be quite intense in the quad. Stay within a comfortable sensation, away from that sharp shooting pain. We'll release that foot down. Shake it out. All right. If you're at the front of the mat, I want you to step long on your mat. Toes out, heels in. Nice wide stance. I like to be on my mat so I'm not slipping across the floor, more in socks. Now from this position, think about a neutral pelvis. So if you're standing and your butt is out, can you think about bringing your pelvis in, reaching your tall back so you're almost between two panes of glass. Think about your belly button coming towards your spine and your ribs knitting together. It's engaging your core all the way around. And then reach those arms up nice and tall. So you're feeling the engagement all the way from the feet, all the way around the core, all the way around the ribs. And keeping your arms up or bringing them to your hips, yogi's choice. Hinging at the hips, come forward halfway. We're gonna make that tabletop so that someone could come and put a coffee cup on your back. It's a lot of weight with the hands out, so feel free to bring them to the hips as well. Double check that the belly button is still coming toward the spine. The ribs are knitting together. Have your crown of your head reach out long in front of you, and your hips are reaching out long to the back. You're extending that spine. Take one intentional breath, feeling the expansion of the chest and belly. Feel the exhale, let that go. And then letting your hands drop down, let's slowly move all the way down into a wide leg forward fold. You can be on fingertips. You can also put blocks under your hands if the ground is far away. Feel free to adjust this width of your feet. And let's take a moment and place the left hand in the center of the mat, in the center of your shoulders. You can also place it on a block. You can bend your knees here. So if the ground is far away from you, I want you to bend your knees so you can place your hand on the ground. Reach up with the right arm. So maybe that's leading to having your left leg bent, your right leg straight as you twist up with the spine to the one side. Think about your upper arm reaching back, your chest opening to the side. And then we're going to sweep that hand down, plant the right hand on the ground, and then sweep up to the left side. And if you're doing the bent knee version, your right leg becomes straight, your left knee bends. Using the top arm to open you to the side of the wall. Now I'm going to challenge you to move one breath, one movement. So all together, let's exhale the air. Inhale, drop that hand down. And exhale, raise the other hand up. Inhale, we're dropping the hand down. Exhale, with the other hand up. Continue to move to your own breath, challenging that breath to be longer than your normal breath. And you have the option to do this with 2 bent knees, switching the bent knee, perhaps straight legs. But what we're really focusing on is the chest and the shoulder area. Thinking about opening that up. And after your next cycle, we're going to bring those hands down. Forward fold again. And I want you to shake out the head. A little yes. A little no. With the toes turned out and the heels turned in, begin to sit your butt down and bend your knees out like a squat. And challenge yourself to sit up into a squat from the ground. Might be a little hard, so play around with it. And then once you're there, reach those arms out wide and bring them up like cactus into goddess pose. Again, think about neutral pelvis coming in, belly button in, knit those ribs together. And give yourself a great big smile because we're building strength. Feel those feet push into the ground and challenge yourself to push into the feet, engage those muscles and rise all the way up to standing. Bring those arms down to your sides. Pivot your front toe and see if you can take a big step to the front of the mat. Whew. Feet under hips. Roll those shoulders back, reach those fingertips down. Neck and head are stacked and proud. Close those eyes. And scan your body, particularly around the glutes, the legs. How does that feel? Is there some waking up there? Is there some burning or a little bit of pulsing? What does that feel like to you? Keeping those hips, those feet underneath the hips, let's sit back into our chair. Sit back with the hips, reach those arms long. Looking down at the knees, if they're dropping together, feel the feet, pinky toe, big toe, even, and then use the inner thigh muscles to bring those knees apart so they're parallel, they're equal distance from each other, they're not locking it. And if you're feeling like this is pretty easy, I want you to sink lower. If you're shaking a lot, I want you to come up a little bit. Find your chair. Reaching from the hips back to the fingers forward. Then we're going to forward fold onto the ground. Woo. Bend the knees, plant the hands. Step back with the right foot into your lunge. Coming up into your low lunge. So today we're going to tuck those back toes and we're going to play around with trying to raise up out of our lunge. So tuck the back toes, push that heel back and see if you can raise that back leg up and then set it down gently. And play around with that a few more times. This is a big strength building move, a big stretch building move. If it's hard to start from the ground, put your hands down Bring your knee up, maybe shorten your stance, and then try and lower it slowly. Then you can bring your hands down, bring the leg up, bring yourself up, and lower that back knee slowly. Because getting up takes a little bit of time. All right, after your next set, you can let the knee come down, untuck the toes, bring the hands to the ground. We'll move the sit bones back, extending the front leg, keeping that little micro bend in the leg. We'll bring ourselves up nice and high. Try and keep the back as straight as possible before you think about hinging at the hips. And then you can relax the head and neck. So you're letting go of the strain in the head and neck, but keeping the stretch in the back of the leg. Again, feel that intentional breath, sending some oxygenated love to the back of the leg, to that stretch area. And then we'll begin to move forward into our little lunge. Toe heel, toe that front leg out to the side, finding our lizard leg. Ooh. Maybe you want to picture a lizard you've seen in a documentary, or maybe you have a lizard or a friend has a lizard. Think about that leg going out to the side. Planting your right hand on the ground, twist toward that lizard leg. Hand comes onto the thigh. You can always put a block or a book underneath the right hand to help support you in the pose a bit more. And an option to stay here. Maybe you want to bend that back knee, bringing the leg up. Perhaps you want to reach that hand back, wave around to your foot. Depending on your quad and your arm and your practice, maybe you can grab the foot. You get to pick your level. Wherever you are working today, that is where you are. I want you to inhale deep. Exhale long. I am building my health, improving my health by spending time on my body and my mind. Let's release that back leg back down if it's up. Slowly unwind the twist. We're going to plant those hands at the front of the mat. We have this lizard leg. We're going to tuck the back toes, and however you can, we're going to step to the front of the mat. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps into a squat. Ooh. So you may have made a noise like me, but that butt comes down, those knees come out, and we're in a squat, a little bit narrower than we did before. You can widen it, that feels better. Feel the energy in your feet. Feel those feet push down as your inner thighs engage, and you push yourself up to standing. And then bring those feet together. Find your tall mountain. Close your eyes and scan your body. This time noticing your breath. The pace of the breath, the temperature of the breath, the ease or challenge of the breath right now. Then we'll get ready to do the other side. But first, let's take a long exhale. Inhale deep. Exhale long. Then inhale, scoot back to your wide-legged chair. Again, looking down at your knees, checking in. Are they falling together? Can you feel the pinky toe side of your foot and the big toe side of your foot? Engage those inner muscles to bring the knees apart. Reach from the fingertips, reach back from the hips. You guys got this. And then exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, plant the hands. This time we're going to step back with the left foot, lower the back knee.
And again, I didn't say this last time, but you can always double up that mat or put a blanket under your knee. Sometimes it helps with these longer lunges. Whew, gives a little bit of extra padding. Maybe some of you are on carpet underneath your mat. That's always nice on the knee. All right. Oh, right. Forgot for a moment what we were doing today. We're working on that back knee, that strength in the back leg, the stretching of that back quad. So you have the option of putting your hands down, tucking the toes, and letting your upper body help with that back leg come up. And you come into your lunge, you slowly lower the knee. Perhaps you're ready for challenge 2, which is tucking the back toe, pushing your heel back, and trying to lift that leg just with the leg muscles. Let the upper body help. I want you to pick whichever level you are at. This is really hard. So sometimes I remember when I could do like one of these and then I was done. Got to start somewhere. You're on the mat today doing your thing. And that's all you do, one day at a time. After your next set, you can untuck those toes, bring the hands down, move the sit bones back, extend that front leg. Bring yourself up with that long spine, always feeling free to put blocks or books under your hands. Hinge at the hips until you feel a sensation on the back of the leg. And then purposely relax your head and neck. Let it hang. We're trying to let go of all the tension and effort in our neck, in our head, our upper back, and trying to keep the stretch and sensation in the back of the leg. Noticing that nice breath as it moves through you. Even a quick, rapid breath from hard work, that's still a rewarding breath. It's letting us know we've been working hard, we're challenging our body in a good way. And begin to move forward into your low lunge. Toe heel, toe out that lizard leg to the side. Envision that lizard. Maybe you want to envision the nice warm sun that lizards are in. Picture that warmth coming into your body. Plant the left hand on the mat and twist toward your right leg. Option to stay here. Option to bend that back knee to bring up the foot. I don't even have to hold on to my foot. I can feel this in my quad. An option to reach your hand back, maybe wiggle those fingers, see if you can find any part of your foot back there. Know that that's a journey. If you are holding onto your foot, if that's accessible to you, I want you to think about your foot pushing into your hand, not your hand pulling your foot. Wherever you are, think long exhale, deep inhale, and release the breath. Release the foot back down. Feel this lizard leg, plant the hands, and however you can, you're gonna find your way to the front of the mat in a squat. So one great big step, 2 big steps, just come up standing and then lower into a squat. You find the one that works for you. Feel the feet, connect to the ground, engage the inner thighs. Think about someone pulling you up as you rise all the way up. Bring those feet back to your mountain pose. Close your eyes. And take a moment here to scan your body once again. Noting the sensations you feel. Feel the work that you've been doing, the strength and stretching you've been building upon. We're going to do one last balance activity to come down to the mat. Whew. So those feet can be together for traditional or hip width for more stability.
Think about your mountain pose first. So the energy rising out of the ground, belly button into spine, ribs knitting together, spine stacking on top of each other, neck and head are stacked, gaze is proud, and then let's bring out those zombie arms in front of us. From here, roll onto the balls of your feet. So that's not the toes, it's a little bit of bone and fleshy part behind the toes. That gives you more than just the toes. Whew. Find your balance here. And then challenge yourself, but remember you can catch yourself at any time. Begin to lower down in a toe squat. So heels stay up, bend the knees. Slowly lower. When you can't lower anymore, just stay there for a moment and feel the breath. On the balls of the feet, challenge those heels to stay up. And then however you can, we're going to come all the way down to our sit bones. Stretch those legs out long in front of you. And then shake out those legs. We've been focusing a little bit on our quads today. So we're going to take our right leg, bring it up, and scoop it back. We're going to try and keep this leg forward. So instead of having the knee out to the side and making an L, we're trying to keep both our knee as forward as possible. If it comes out to the side a bit, mine does, that's more comfortable, that's okay. So sit up nice and tall and check in with this quad and with this knee. The knee is hurting. I want you to just fix the angle or move into this kind of pose. You're going to do something a little different. But if the knee is feeling good, if the quad is feeling not stretched, I want you to slowly start walking yourself back until you feel the sensation in your quad. And maybe you want to move from one side to another and see if you can find a place where your quad is stretching. Now, if you have really flexy quads and flexy hip stretchers, you might be someone who can walk down onto their forearms or maybe even onto their back. That is very challenging for me. I sit a lot in my day. But if that is something you want to play around with, feel free. And wherever you are, I want you to inhale deep. Exhale long. If you're laying down, if you're leaning back, I want you to walk yourself back up to straight. Unbend that knee, bring it around the front. We'll plant those knees and do a few windshield wipers in between sides. So you're thinking about the movement coming from your hip bones, not just your knees. Then we'll sit back up, extend the right leg out, and take the left one, bend that foot behind you, and find your spot where your knee isn't completely out to the side. It's thinking more forward, or maybe out to the corner like mine. Again, checking in with the knee. If there's sharp shooting pain in the knee, I want you to unbend the knee and work on a forward fold at this time. Or go back to the standing one we did at the beginning. And then do your own assessment. Thinking about stretching the quad, this front upper leg muscle. Begin to walk yourself back until you feel that quad stretch. Maybe you're leaning from side to side. On this side, my quad apparently is quite a bit more flexible. It's quite a bit more open, so I can come down on my right forearm on this side. The other side, that was not happening. But I want you to be curious to your own body. You haven't done this one before, just explore it out. It's a nice little counteract to sitting at our desks, teaching, doing schoolwork, entertaining ourselves. Do one more intentional breath. And then slowly walk yourself back up. Extend that leg. And let's do a few windshield wipers. Rotating from the hip, nice proud chest to stretch that back. And we'll move into a seated position, maybe crisscross, maybe Skidasana with the heels lined up. Maybe you want to kneel. Take a moment to feel the sit bones root down and the spine to grow tall. Today for our twist, we're going to work on twisting the upper thoracic. So I want you to bring your right arm in top of your left, just like this. Sitting nice and tall. And then begin to move towards your left. And this twist might not be very far because we're just working on our upper back. Wherever you are, exhale the air from the lungs. And inhale deep. Exhale long. We'll come back to center. Stack your arms the other way. The left one comes on top. And then let's begin to move toward the right. Again, you're not going to go far. I'm not looking toward the back of the room. You're twisting from the upper spine, the mid to upper spine, the shoulders. This is going to feel different than the twist when we reach behind. And we want it to feel just a little bit different. This is a nice one to do at your desk during the day. To kind of wring out all that desk work. We'll come back to center. Release those hands down to your lap. Let the hands be heavy. Allow the eyes to close and the gaze to come soft to the floor. All together, exhale the air from the lungs. Inhale slow and deep, allowing the chest to expand, belly to expand. Hold the breath at the top. Slowly exhale through the mouth. Maybe allow those shoulders to drop with the breath. And take a moment here to scan your body one more time. Observing how today's practice affected you. Maybe where it opened up some space or stretched some things out. Maybe where it's feeling a little shaky and weak because you were building strength. Now the muscles are going to repair themselves to be a little bit stronger for next time. Building strength is so cool. We'll bring our hands together, heart center. Tuck the chin to chest. And take this moment to think of one thing today that you are grateful for. Take one more intentional breath. When you're ready, you can slowly open those eyes. Come back to your day. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. We'll see you next Thursday or on the replay. And if you're on live right now, if you want to stay for a moment and let me know how that quad stretch worked for you, I'd love to hear your feedback. See you soon.